laser, sulfur. Oh, hard drive. I was not being dumb about how I was aiming. Okay. We're going to try looping around this side and see where that puts us. Alright. I find a little too much of any one part of this game, and I tend to get tired, but I can basically see the end at this point, so I kind of want to get through it. Way now? There we go. Woo. That Mark II output I know has power. And then our mega power plant is right there as well. Should be somewhere inside that wall. Doesn't fly, I should find. All these wonderful creatures and monsters and poison spawners and all sorts of good stuff here. Trying to kill me, so clearly there's something here that's notable. Okay. Apparently not in this vehicle. I was told by a Coffee Stain video that all the vehicles have some level of air control and that you can access that by holding space while the vehicle, but they demonstrated it with a factory cart, so I assume that because of the absurdity of it. Start heading home. And apparently because there's a summer sleep up there. Affect the proximity of the summer's loop, but put one of these in to my existing power grid again, or rather a second one into my existing power grid until I had enough to build a second one because of these exploration hard drives. Because oftentimes they do want a whole bunch of power, and my previous method for dealing with them was, you know, to go along. Lovely, let's grab some nice advanced components here. Heat sinks. Never come across those yet. That's nice. One of those, but might as well. honest, I care more about hard drives than motion shooters. Nitrogen. That's what the current tech exploration is going to unlock for me, is the pressurized wells to get that stuff. Something I didn't realize until I saw it recently was that the those guys, the spitters, whatever they're called, and sometimes they're really nice and put like mushrooms and stuff near cave entrances, and then other times it's like the tiniest little crack in the wall that you got to throw a novelist at to actually find where you're going. Or they'll put it behind like a resource node like that. But that would be a bit further away than I would expect to see. Like, when I'm doing the normal streams, the camera stays still, they're totally fine, but the second I start flipping around and moving and sliding and jumping and everything, yeah, game over. Not happening. Alrighty, there we go. Okie dokie.
Look through the window and witness the thread.
Your case lights just started freaking out for a second there, so that seems to be stable now. Please let me know if the game audio is too loud, too quiet, or otherwise. I know it can be a little bit wonky with Twitch, so. Interesting. At this point, the lack of dialogue is more suspicious than it is more suspicious than anything else for me. Slog, that seems a little excessive. I wasn't paying attention. Summer's good. Okay, so apparently this isn't going to be me building anything to stream. This is going to be me finding all the summers loop I couldn't find last time. Right there. That's fine. Secret behind the waterfall? How dare you? We all know it's part of video game code that you're required to put secrets behind waterfalls, and this game has many a waterfall and not many secrets. Wow. Actually, a fair bit of aluminum casing. Okay. For the radio control units to get the advanced aluminum production. That's a weird looking structure.
Your waves lap at our shores. When will you land?
Perfect. I haven't picked up a new voice dialogue, new voice line in a while. Very surprised. Escos here. Okay. I kind of figured that would be the case, Mom. Unfortunately, rain, we have summer sleep activity. Good, good, good. Scary looking, but you don't really do that much damage so long. It did a fantastic job of making this whole biome look disgusting. So... instant circle well. What the heck? You guys even put radiation and... Okay. Problems. Electromagnetic control rods. We had some in our inventory already. Don't know where they went, but yeah. Hopefully that's enough to do that box. I didn't actually eyeball how many I needed. All right. There we go. All right. Let's go to the power plant. Screw it. Let's go like this. I've got this one up right here. If it's convenient, I tend to grab the power slugs, but I really don't stress about them because I don't find there to be much scarcity of them at this point in the game for me. Not that I'm complaining, mind you, but... nestled in with uranium. summer sloop. I feel like that's a different one that I was just scanning, unless I was just being really dumb about how I was aiming. Yes. Okay. Need more Sam, I know where to find it. I'm actually gonna drop that. Whoa, what the? Oh my gosh. Not just stat damage, that was what? Just straight up exploration for summer sloops. Okay. Oh, that's fun. Thank you so much. That's... I know this game is just terrible for you to watch, Mom. I apologize, but not a lot I can do about that. I mean, first person is just generally not your, not going to be good for you. Because unlike you, my character can actually look up and down. Without causing. This would be the only part where I really wish I had a portable teleport. Little one-time shot to get home. I wouldn't even be upset if it was like a really, really high power draw battery thing. Oh, for sure. It's definitely hope it goes away soon and they find a solution. I think they're going on most likely a cave. These can be very tricky to suss out, though. Like, sometimes you get... They were nice, because this is all sculpted, right? This is a handcrafted map. Say nothing is random. And I did indeed want to come here. And my enemies are none the wiser. This way. Okay. I'm not detouring for other things, but I will actually take the time to detour for summer sleep, because they are pretty. My mom has very long-term vertigo, which does not have any indication of going away anytime soon, sadly. So, unfortunately, games like this, you know. Alright, we're gonna head back to base, I think. Or, oh, apparently I was exploring a whole new mountain range. Okay. I'm also here for that. There's a summer sleep up here somewhere. Alien power augmenter. Boop. A power line connected up to that. And free 500 megawatts of power. Which is the big reason why I didn't want to oh my god, okay. Direct opposite direction of what I was intending on doing. So as I said before, in a little bit here we're going to be doing, not tonight because I need to finish rebuilding this space, but probably come next stream. Those guys are just largely not worth fighting. It's kind of annoying. But radiation suit goes a long way. turbo fuel in the inventory. Okay, so I'm gonna take a look at the map, see what is our closest point that has power. This power is how we're gonna get home. God, this biome really doesn't want me here, right? Boxes are long. Nope, don't want it. Not interested. Don't want to buy it. Nope. Go away. Wow, that's a lot of creatures. Nice. So the underground one. Okay. I'm currently on top of the cliff. So either there's a cave entrance from the top, or I need to be going over one of the sides to find it. There'd be a reason to come up here. Just give you a little local area map that you can hang out if there's nearby caverns. Doesn't have to be a low-level tech, it could be a higher level, but being able to do that would be real nice. I know what I'm doing. There we are. There we go. Ah, I'm just done. There we go. Just blended right in. Alright, fair enough. There we go. Okie dokie. Alright. Let's go up this peak just to say that we've been there, and then we'll file. wreck down there. Pretty remarkable in the game. And if I have with the seaworms, just yours. No harm in grabbing those. I assume. Probably a cave. They will fight with spiders, which I thought was really interesting. A spider was chasing me, landed amongst a bunch of them, and they actually fought each other to the death. Which obviously was very good, very, very good for me. That's suspicious. I saw something about the enlistment scheme that I want to test for later as well. Radioactive guy. She glitches AI a little bit by just sitting here apparently. So that's nice. Destructible portion of this wall. I wish there was like a terrain scanner, which would... Oh, I can actually do that one. For he made that a very high... down there. Okay. Whoa. I think that hurt them a lot more than it hurt me. Alright. Secrets in their limbs. Like a whole bunch of power slugs. Nice! Alright, so I'm going to need 100 computers, 50 crystal oscillators, and 64 aluminum piece. Or no, 32 per. A whole biome I don't think I've ever actually been to. which I think is where one of the people that play on the Dino server ended up driving off to do some mega factory and got stuck. So.
Surface genetic sampling indicates this freighter may have come from a planet run by apes.
I don't drive the vehicles in this game nearly often enough. And sometimes you get little bonuses like that log that got in my way. Finding all sorts of stuff on this walk, but no big deal. We've got that. Where I'm sourcing it from is not technically infinite at this point, but it's nearly a full double stack container. So if I manage in a single outing to exhaust that, I think we've run into some other situations, and we'll deal with those as they come up. Directly underneath it, that's why. I should have found all my programmer and my cables and all my odds and ends that I need to do this stuff. And we should be able to do some progress on that wonderful Top Hat project, because I want to work on that project, and I know some people want it. And I want to give people things that they want. So, presumably, there's a cave here somewhere. Is this up on the ledge here somewhere? Let's see. See, that one's further away. This is extreme. Power slugs roll all away. Well. And it'll fade. Perfect. But definitely doesn't have any spiders in it whatsoever. Still no dialogue. 8-9 years? Something like that. Been a rough go. We're gonna go get that hard drive, and then we're gonna find our way home, so we can actually do some factory.